Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 16 Bitchin' Podcast, part of the Retro Refresh family, and I am very excited and very happy. Why am I happy? Because I got to have a fucking holiday. I've been on holiday. Me! The poor guy that never gets to go on holiday, or have a break, or stop, or breathe. Which is actually quite ironic because of lung disease with the breathing and the not. But anyway, let's get on with it. Why am I happy? Alright? Yes, it said holiday, but there's more details now. We're going to go into more detail. I'm going to say a little bit about what's been going on with me for a change. So, had this holiday booked for quite a while. I'm only going to... Well, I was only going to Cornwall. Newquay and Cornwall. That's the foot of Britain. If you look at Britain, there's a little spiky bit at the bottom left. That's where I was. Love it there. I've been many times. I'm not the kind of person that goes to loads of different places for vacations and holidays. No, it's pretty much the same place each time. I'm a family guy. I got kids. I got the wife. It's like, just go somewhere you know you enjoy. Because if you risk it and go somewhere that turns out to be shit, nah, I can't be done with that. So, of course, what happened before the holiday? Now, bear in mind, it's me, and my luck is legendary. So, what would happen before a vacation? Well done to you, sir. Pat on the back. Sick. I got sick as fuck. 2 days before the weekend, before going away, because we left on a Monday. On the Thursday, in other words, I was so out of it. Like, I felt like I was in a daze. And that was really bad because I was working on a work site where I had to be up on scaffolding. And it is the dodgiest fucking scaffolding I've ever seen. There's been complaints made about it. I'm hoping they fixed it since I've been away. Because I literally got back from my vacation a couple of hours ago. If that. So, I've no idea what's happening work-wise at the moment. And on that scaffolding, I won't lie, it's very dangerous. I shouldn't have gone up there. I shouldn't have. But, it's 2 days before vacation. I need every fucking penny I can get. So, I put up with it on that Thursday. I put up with being very dizzy and very dazed on dodgy scaffolding. Next day, the exact same, but a new flavour to the mix. Nauseous. I felt so nauseous. I'm lucky that I was the only one working on scaffolding, because there were a few times when I would sneak around a corner somewhere, kind of hide, and just sit and stare at like a dot on the floor while I'm trying to concentrate and get over the sicky, disgusting feeling in my stomach. Fucking horrible. That Friday was horrible. So, how was the Saturday? Well, it was much of the same, but headaches as well. And then Sunday's when it really came into, let's just say, we'll put it as polite and nice as possible, okay? Because I'm a polite and nice individual. You know what? I can't even lie about it. Fine, shits. Got the shits. It was fucking horrible. All day Sunday. And I was meant to do a 4-hour drive at 5 o'clock in the morning on the Monday. And I could not leave the bathroom. It was hell. And it got to the point where it was incredibly painful. I was in agony. And I was meant to do a 4-hour drive. The wife's saying the holiday's cancelled, it's off. I got no sleep Sunday night. I don't mean like, I only got a couple of hours sleep. Or, I was awake for all but an hour. No, I was awake continuously, no matter what I fucking did. Sunday night was horrible. In all of the most horrible ways you can imagine. I'm not going to go into any more detail. I'm just going to tell you it was hell. But I told everyone to get in that fucking car. And I drove 4 hours. After having 4 days of horrid illness, extreme lack of sleep, I was the moodiest, angriest, most pissed off cunt on the road. But I got us there. And I started to feel a bit better. Not when we were there, it's kind of like the second day, like the Tuesday. But the holiday was great. The kids were at the penny arcades, enjoying themselves with that. The place we stayed was awesome. Also, if you're listening to this podcast on YouTube, there will be some footage, as of now, here and there, random places throughout the podcast, showing what the place was like, some of the things related to the stories that I'm going to talk about in this podcast, this episode. So, as of now, that will start, but it's going to be completely random from now on as to when there is stuff. It will be a bit off and on. don't worry, if you're only listening to it, if you're not going to bother watching, don't worry, you don't have to see any of this stuff. It's just bonus. Okay? So don't worry. So yeah, the place we were staying at, it's really nice. I think the wife phoned to get a slight upgrade before we went, and they must have ballsed up, or she ballsed up. Someone ballsed up, and we got a much nicer place. It was like, didn't pay for this. Definitely did not pay for this level of quality, so that was awesome. But what's more awesome is we had heard rumour of a different kind of arcade. There was a retro arcade. Now, I've never been to one. I know, like, you would think, how have you never been to a retro arcade, Tom? Well, there are none in my area. None. Not one. Not near, not within 10 miles, not within 20 miles, probably not even within 50 miles. There isn't one. Okay? There isn't a fucking retro arcade anywhere near me. So I've never been to one. And the only arcade cabinets I've played on are... I don't know if it's only the arcade 1-up ones, but they're the only ones I remember playing. Because I'm at that age where the arcade had died just as I was at the sort of age to be going to arcades. And when I went there, I was a young idiot. I went to the flashy light gun games as opposed to any sort of Pac-Man, Space Invader, shooter game, you know. So I played an obscene amount of House of the Dead and an obscene amount of Time Crisis games. I didn't play any of the classics, because I was a kid and stupid. Now, House of the Dead, I think it's an okay game. It has its place in history. I don't think it's all that brilliant. Time Crisis, I like Time Crisis 1 on the PlayStation. Even then, I can't be fucked to rig up a light gun to play it. So, I don't give a shit. You know, really don't care. So I feel like I missed out a lot. But this place, this retro arcade we found, was the tits. So the place was called Retro Blast, or Retro Blast Coffee, as you might be able to find it online. It was an awesome place. The dog there just sort of went mad when it saw us, because when we found it, we went in there every damn day, by my demand. Kids wanted to see if they could win shit little keyring prizes in a penny arcade. There's me going to... what we're going to talk about for our retro game today, because I was determined to beat the high score, because first time I played it, I got onto the leaderboard. I think I was the only one that played it that day, though, because they must turn them all off each night, rather. And the leaderboard on the machines gets reset. Bit of a pisser. But it would explain why the first time playing it, I got onto the leaderboard, and I thought, alright, okay. Next time I go in, I'm going to get better. Next time I'm going to go in better. And I did. And anyway, leave that for now, because that's a retro game. I'm not meant to be getting into that just yet, silly bastard. I bought a hoodie there. If I remember, I'll take a picture of it, show some footage, and I'll put that in a YouTube video somewhere as well. Also, while I was on holiday, Mike was doing his prototype episode for his new live stream, because I couldn't do live at the arcade. I couldn't get online and have any decent presence there, so I was like, look, I'm just going to have to miss it. And he said, that's fine, don't worry about it. So that he considered that a good time to try his prototype one. And he covered the game Slipstream. And he had planned to do it beforehand. He was setting it up, and like as he's setting it up, like the day before or whatever, I said, you bastard, I really want to buy that game. It looks awesome. And he said, oh, I got an email from someone. They were saying, would you like to review our game? Here's a code of the game. I went, oh, you bastard. A game I really want to play, and it's in my wish list for the Switch, yeah? I really want to play it. I was going to buy it before the holiday, but I guess I forgot because I was ill. I thought I was going to buy it when I get back. He's got it for free. You dick. As we're talking about this, because we're on the Retro Refresh video thing we use as an app, doesn't matter. We're using that, and then Tom of Do You Nerd, he comes along, and he says, hey guys, thought you should know, I actually got contacted by someone a little while ago about a car game. He said, I forget the name, so it was blatantly Slipstream. He said it looked like Outrun. He was asked to do a game review on it. He says, we don't really do game reviews, but I know people who do, and he put them onto Retro Gamer Boy, Chronic Spartan, Sega Head. I think he did for Telesplash Gaming and Button Bash as well, but he warned them channels are temporarily inactive. Is probably the accurate way to put it. But I looked in my email. Sure enough, I got an email from him saying, we would love for you to do a review on our game. I went, oh, fuck, how did I not notice this? Being sick sucks. can't think when you're sick. You really can't. So, I got the game now. I've done an agreement with them to review the game. I'll be honest about it when I do the review. I'll be honest. And I thought, to be fair to them, I won't just put it on the podcast. I'll do a proper video for it. So, as I say, I've only just got home from the holiday. I've downloaded the game. I'm going to play that over the weekend and work on something proper for it. But I'm really excited about Slipstream. It would have been today's indie game, but I haven't played it, so how can I talk about it? You know, it deserves a proper video. If they're going to give me their game, they deserve a full video dedicated to just their game. Also, as you may have noticed, the retro game today is obviously linked to the Retro Blast Arcade. So, Daniel Petrie, I'm sorry if I slur my words a bit, still a little bit ill. Your requested game I'm going to put for the next podcast where it's just me. So I shall do it then. Also, in case you're wondering, if I do slur my words or sound a little bit off, guess what? At the end of the holiday, just as we're getting ready to come back, I start getting ill again. I feel like death. Right now, right here, right now, sitting down, recording this, I feel like microwaved shit. So I went on holiday feeling sick, and I've come back feeling a different kind of sick. So I am a massive winner. Fuck my life. Anyway, that's the bullshit. Long introduction, a little bit of shit about what's going on with me. Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, we are going to move on to the modern game. Now, you see, the good thing about me being on holiday was I got to play a bunch of games. At last, I got to delve into the backlog. And let's put it this way, there's a new Kirby game out, isn't there? Everyone's raving about it. What is it, the Forbidden Lands, I think? Anyway, I seen it, it looks good, but I haven't properly played a Kirby game in a fucking long time. I wasn't sure I would enjoy it, and I don't want to spend a lot of money on it if it turns out I don't like it. So I thought, I've got another Kirby game in my collection that I got for my daughter. And I thought, you know what, I'll play that. She doesn't care. I'll play that, and I'll put my all into it and see if I enjoy it. If I enjoy it, then I'll get the new one, Forbidden Whatsits, at some point. But anyway, this Kirby game is Star Allies. Star Allies. Now, here's a weird thing about this game. When it first came out on the Switch, I heard bad things about it. Well, I say bad, more on the negative side. It wasn't considered a shit game. It was just, I heard some people being disappointed and not enjoying it. So, I was a bit worried going into this. Now, as I look at the information online, that doesn't make any sense because apparently the game has sold 3.15 million copies as of June 2020. Making it one of the best-selling games on the Switch and the highest-selling entry in the series since its debut with Kirby's Dream Land. Obviously, this information might be a bit out, depending how well the new Kirby does, but I guess the rumours I heard on this thing's first release were horse shit. I don't know. So I'll quickly say why this Kirby game is different from others. This one specialises on Kirby having friends. Now, don't be put off by the whole friendship shit, alright? Just don't. Because let's go into it. This is what the game is like. If you've never played a Kirby game before, this is a brilliantly accurate way to describe Kirby Star Allies. The main character, Kirby, a little pink fluff ball with a desire for murder. He travels across the land, devouring those who stray in his path. He steals their souls and their abilities. He throws brainwashing hearts at his foes, convincing them that he is their friend, and that they shall follow him and kill their previous friends. But if Kirby is done with them, he will turn upon them, swallow them whole, stealing their powers. He will cut through enemies, freeze his enemies, burn his enemies to a cinder. He will travel across the world with immense power, hiding behind a cute facade, appearing innocent appearing cute and cuddly and gentle. But he is a serial killer, a monster, a demon. That is the best way I can describe Kirby Star Allies. I shit you not, some of the things he does is questionable, alright? So you can have up to 3 allies at any time, and you can pick, out of all the monsters you encounter in a level, who you want to make your ally. It only works on enemies that have abilities, so it can't just be one that can run or fly or any of that boring crap. It has to be one that can do something special, like breathe fire or super strength, crap like that. He can also just eat them at any point. If Kirby loses an ability, but he has 3 allies or even just 1 ally, he can turn on them and eat them and steal their power. So it's like, sorry, Star Allies? More like disposable allies? It's a little weird. It's meant for kids. So in terms of a 3D platformer, this game is not challenging. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It's not fucking Dark Souls, you know. But it doesn't matter. I've said it 1,000 times. Difficulty does not determine if the game is fun. This game simply is fun. It's a bit weird on the way it's meant to be all cutesy, and yet you'll quite happily go and kill anyone, including your friends. I shit you not, it's a little bit weird. But it's an incredibly fun game. And yeah, I'm kind of zooming through it. According to the game's save data, I'm 37% through the game. I haven't been going apeshit on getting all of the collectibles. The way I see it is if I do a level and I've missed one, well, bollocks. If I want, I'll go back at the end of the game and do it then. I'm having fun just going through them and trying to get them as I go. And the unlockables, I mean. So that's me happy enough with that. It's not difficult at all. Graphically, it's an insanely colourful game. I mean, puking rainbows in terms of colour. It's just nuts. The music, I love the fact that it's got so many of the old tunes. Because remember, I've only played the old Kirby's, like Game Boy, NES, that's it. Super Nintendo, I missed. N64, missed. Although apparently that's a crap one, so I guess I didn't miss out. GameCube, yeah, I missed out. I'm a bit gutted on that one. Wii was when I started looking at Kirby again, thinking, I should try a Kirby game. I haven't tried a Kirby game in ages. There was that Yarn one, which at the time didn't look appealing to me. The graphics, the design, I didn't like it, so I thought I'd give it a miss. Apparently that's a stupid thing to do. That game is meant to be awesome. So maybe I'll get it on the Wii, or maybe I'll get the re-release for the 3DS. You know, I should look into that. But I didn't get a new Kirby game until the Wii U. Kirby and the fucking Rainbow Curse. Oh, I was really disappointed with that game. It looked cool, but I didn't realise you have to use the gamepad to play it. And I hated Wii U games where I had to use the gamepad. It should be optional. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. I shouldn't have to. It's fucking horse shit. It's like if you got a PS4 game, but you have to tilt the controller to move left and right, or you have to use the fucking touchpad thing. No! Piss off! I want to press X! That's it! So as you can imagine, going into Star Allies, I was a bit worried because I love the old Kirby games, but I was a little wary because my last new Kirby experience was a shit one. But Star Allies is dead fun. It's for all ages. I mean, it doesn't look it. It looks like it's for kids. But it is for all allies. Anyone can be a fan of Kirby and not give a fuck. Kind of like Pokemon. I know a lot of people in their fucking 30s and 40s, they all enjoy Pokemon. So there. The game has some pretty rave reviews across the board, except for our good friends at Metacritic, who have given it a 73 out of 100. That's probably the worst review it's got. Oh no, I beg your pardon, Venture Beat. Who the bloody hell are Venture Beat? Never heard of them. 65 out of 100. Well, I don't know you. It's a nuts to you. It is indeed a lot of fun. But it's, you know, I don't know if it's a game I would come back to. You know what I mean? I don't see a huge replayability. It's good, it's fun. I reckon when I complete it, I will be happy and content, and then maybe never touch it again. If I'm honest. If you can get the game cheap, I highly recommend playing it. I know you won't get the game cheap, though, because it's fucking Kirby and it goes the way of Pokemon and Zelda. The price doesn't drop. Thank you, Nintendo. You cunt. Now, I don't have much more to say on the modern game. because it's Kirby, so bollocks. But I do have a lot I want to talk about with the retro one, so we are going straight on to Tempest. There's a problem with Tempest, and when I do things for these old arcade games, like with Defender, with Nintendo Arcade, Alex from Nintendo Arcade, there's not really a soundtrack, so when it comes to music, there's fuck all I can do. So it's just going to be like a laser sound effect for them sort of games. What can you do? There is no music. It is what it is. Now, while I was at the Retro Blast Arcade, there were many arcade machines there. There was Centipede, Frogger, Robotron. Oh, balls. What's the year? You know the one. Arcade Robotron. It's got a lot to do with Ready Player One at certain points. I always wanted to try that game because of Ready Player One. Bear in mind, I've only read the book. I have not seen the film. The book is fantastic. The film, nope, I'm not going to watch it. So I don't know about that one. But anyway, Robotron, I always wanted to try it. Finally got to try it. It's a fun game. I suck at it, but it's great fun. It's madly colourful. It's just epileptically... But I finally got to try it. There was also Donkey Kong there. I don't think I've ever tried Donkey Kong on an arcade cab. And fucking hell, I will say this. It took me a little while to realise why I was sucking so bad at some of these arcade games. I've grown up with controllers, D-pads, and a jump button. This is an arcade stick. I rarely play with an arcade stick, unless it's a shooter. If it's a shooter, I can adapt fairly quick if the arcade stick is good, you know. But with platformers and games like that, I couldn't get on with it. It would require a lot of practice from me. So I would put that down for the main reason why I was playing so bad. But as I was going through the games, thinking, okay, Pac-Man, could do Pac-Man with an arcade stick. I could do that. Shooters, I know I can do shooters with an arcade stick. I could do that. I got to Tempest. And, you know, I said about Robotron with Ready Player One. Ready Player One, the book, is my favourite book of all time, I reckon. So you can imagine how disappointing I was with the sequel of that. But anyway, without any spoilers, in Ready Player One, there is a bit of a story around the game Tempest. So I thought, I want to have a go. So I did. And I lasted longer on that than I did most of the other arcade machines there. Then when I saw that I'd got onto the top 10, I was like, fucking hell, how did I get here? Of course, I soon realised it was because the arcade cabinets get turned off overnight, and then when they get turned back on, they get a default top 10 list, and it's pretty fucking low. Except for place number 1. This arcade, had a little competition thing they have ongoing. See if you can get on the leaderboard in first place on any arcade game, and you get your name recorded down on the wall in the arcade. So, for some reason, on most of these arcade cabinets, all of the top 10 scores were reset to like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, you know, just basically going up. Not zero, but they were all just going up in numbers to a certain basic amount. But the top score was always a mad number with a different kind of name. And I can't remember the names of the other people on these ones, but Kev was the name of the guy that was at the top of the Tempest one with a fucking huge number of like 180-something thousand points. All I can remember is it was 180-something thousand points. And it was such a mad number, you're thinking, okay, when these are turned back on, maybe that one's typed in manually so people can keep track and see if they do beat the scores. Maybe they do that every morning here. I meant to ask, but I forgot because I'm a dick. But I thought I want to get on the board properly. So I kept coming back to this place over the holiday. My wife didn't mind. I bought her a magazine each time. She sat down with a coffee and just thought, right, you go ahead, fuck off and play your game. And the kids, they just came up to me every so often for more money so they could go on the other machines and last all the 10 bloody seconds. I was pissing through 50p's, let me tell you. But Tempest, I got a knack for it. I started really getting in the swing of it. Every time I played, I got better. At one point, I got in the swing of it. You know, I got in the zone. Shit, you know, I got in the zone. I couldn't do wrong. But I did get down to my last life, and I was making that life last a long time. It was a case of, Earn a new life. Fuck it. Back down to the last life. Earn a new life. Fuck it. Back down to the last life. I kept doing that, but I kept racking up the score. I thought, I'm going to beat Kev, whoever the fuck he is. Then my son came along, completely distracted me. I turned around. I was like, what? No, hang on a minute, mate. Look back at the screen. Dead. I was pissed. The best Tempest game I ever played, and I fucked it because my damn son distracted me. But it's okay. It's okay, I got my vengeance. Put his Nintendo Switch in the toilet. Nah, I didn't, but I fucking wanted to. I can't remember the score I got, but I know I got footage of it. So you'll see that at some point through this. Maybe right now, maybe you've already seen it. I don't know. After that, in fact, no, before that, when I was just practicing, trying to get that good, me and my son were taking it in turns. Be like, right, okay, I have a go, give it my all, and then I'd finally fuck it and go, all right, I'm just going to see how your mum's doing. So I go back to the missus, talk to her. Then the boy would come up and go, I beat you a high score, Daddy. Oh, you fucking well have fucking not. So I'd go back to Tempest, play again, beat his high score. Then eventually die and bugger off to get a drink. And then he'd come up to me again, I beat your high score, Daddy. And the last time he did it, I went, all right, you're cheating. Because I spent a good long time there trying to get that high score. You've come along in about half the time and you say you've beaten it? That's not possible. You're 8. What are you doing? Well, the crafty bastard had kind of cheated. You see, at the bottom of the main menu when you start, when you first put in your 50p, quarter, or wherever the fuck you're from, you get level 1. You can start from level 1, you get no bonus points. You can start from level 2. Difficulty's obviously up a little bit, you get 1,000 bonus points. Because I'd been playing it and getting further and further, it had unlocked numerous levels. You could start from level 13 and get 72,000 bonus points. So my son was coming along, playing the hardest one, completing a level, dying, losing every single life, but because he got the bonus round, the bonus points, he beat me. Because I spent all that time trying to get to a certain point, and then he came along, did one level to unlock to achieve the bonus, got a few extra points from trying and all that, and then died. I was like, you little fuck, I didn't know you could do that. I haven't been paying attention. So I went down, went all the way to the end, where there was a bonus of 92,000 points for, if I can do this level. So I was managing to get further and further by, instead of starting on easy mode every time I played, I started on hard mode. So my playthroughs lasted half as long, but I was doing much better in terms of points and shit, so it was all good. Anyway, that's enough about me playing the game, the point system, me and my son having a laugh doing that. What the fuck is Tempest? It's a weird sort of shooter, it really is. It's like looking down the barrel of a gun. And it's all in vector graphics. So imagine, if you don't know what vector graphics is, really bright, well-lit lines. Everything is made out of lines. And they're not filled in. So if you imagine a square made out of bright lines, it's not coloured in the middle. It's just got coloured lines. That's vector graphics. The game was first released in 1981 in the arcade, and something I find quite interesting, it says Tempest was one of the first video games with a progressive level design, where the levels themselves varied rather than giving the player the same fucking layout with increased difficulty. So, instead of just looking down the barrel of a gun, it would get weirder and jagged, everything would be a strange layout. It'd always be like you're looking down something, and you were a weird ship that looked like a yellow claw. And you could move along and shoot down the aisle at these weird arse shapes, which all had names like flippers, and I can't remember the names of the others, it's gone right now. But everything that appeared on the screen did something different, had different characteristics. It was all quite interesting, it was really well thought out. Tempest is a fucking fun game to look at. It's not incredibly impressive, but that's because it's vector graphics. They looked great at the time. Now it's just a bunch of lines. There can be no denying it. Now I reckon that's why this arcade cabinet, I never saw anyone but me and my son playing it. Loads of people wanted to go on Donkey Kong. Loads of people wanted to go on Frogger. Loads of people want to go on Cuba. I fucking hate Cuba. I can't do it. I can't Cuba. No one wanted to go on Tempest because it's made out of lines. But it's fun as fuck. It's incredibly fun as a game. Also, I will say on the, how do I put it? The arcade cabs artwork, there's this weird demon alien fucker with horns. I had seen this thing years ago. Didn't realise what it was. Because, as some of you know, before I did YouTube videos, I used to record my own music. That used to be my hobby. I used to make music, and it was black metal, industrial black metal and all that. And I got into the black metal scene. I got to know a lot of musicians, and many of them were toxic. I left the scene and left it all behind because it's, YouTube, all right, the YouTube website is horse shit, and there's a lot of bad stuff around it. But YouTubers, YouTube content creators, YouTube watchers, the nicest people on the fucking planet. I've met so many decent people. I've only met a few arseholes, but I've met a lot of decent people. In the black metal scene, everything was the other way around. There were very few good people. There were some good people. The guys from the band Smorg, Kalstov Mern, who I was in that band Mara came with, decent people. Everyone else was a piece of shit. Out for money. Out to make out their music was better than everyone else's and stood out from everyone else's. It's black metal. A lot of it sounds the same. It's a very, very, very linear type of music. It doesn't delve out or merge or change all that much without then being considered not black metal. Stupidly. Anyway, there was once this band called, and it's the crappiest name for black metal ever, Water. This fucking band was obsessed with Charles Manson, had loads of recordings of the bastard throughout an album. Didn't add anything to any music. Not at all. This cunt had stolen the artwork from the arcade cabinet of Tempest and used it as album artwork and called his album Tempest. It's like, really? That's so unimaginative. He just straight up nicked it. Cropped it a bit. And put water, the word water on the front. And black metal logos normally, they look like they're made out of wires and twigs and everything's just a fuck up. Black metal logos are normally really quite cool to look at. This one's just text. It's pants. So the first time I had seen this demon alien horny fucker from Tempest was years ago on an album cover, and I didn't even realise what I was looking at. Anyway, the game Tempest, if you want to check it out, aside from arcade cabinets, of course, it was out on the Spectrum, Amstrad, Atari ST. I have no idea if it's released on modern-day consoles. There's a lot of arcade compilation games you can get these days that you might be able to find something on the PS4. I'm going to look out for it because I am officially a fan of Tempest. Bit addicted to it. The controller, here's the thing that's going to be tough to replicate. It had a what do you call it? It's a twisty knob, a metal twisty knob, like when you're playing Arkanoid back in the day, or Kaboom for the Atari 2600. You had the controllers that twist, that turned. That's how you play Tempest. There's no arcade stick holding left, right. There was a shoot button, a sort of wipeout button where you could wipe out everything on the screen once per level, shall we say, and you had this twisting device. The name is completely fucked out of my head. It's really quite annoying. There you are, I've just had to Google it. Rotary knob. That's what they're called. Thanks, Google. You suck. Now, I think I've waffled on long enough about the retro game, and, what more can you say about a game with vector graphics? Tempest. Check it out. Again, if you're listening / watching on YouTube, I will put a little bit of footage of what that arcade cabinet was like throughout this, and then we'll go from there. But now we're going on to the indie game. Now, I was going to cover the Slipstream game, but as you know, I decided not to because I thought it deserves its full video, and I haven't had a chance to properly play it yet, so that's not fair. Shouldn't talk about a game I haven't properly played. So instead, we're going to talk about an indie game on the Master System. This is Silver Valley. Now, the good thing about Silver Valley is, yes, there is a physical presence. It is out on cartridge. You can download it in a variety of places, I think, for free. So if you want to play this, there's not really anything stopping you. One thing I don't agree with on this game's description is some people say it's Metroidvania. It's not. It's quite linear. When you progress forward enough, you can't go back. To me, a Metroidvania game is one where you go back to places you've been before with new abilities to unlock doors and the such that you couldn't go through before. That's Metroidvania. In a nutshell, it's Metroidvania, isn't it? This game has none of that. It's very Castlevania-like. You progress through levels, you get further and further. There's no password or save feature, which I hate. I really wish there was. There's platforming, flying, shooting. There's a fucking boat bit where you have to do some sailing. I hate that part. It's just difficult. It's not poorly programmed, it's not bullshit, it's just fucking tough. This game is a challenge. Now, is it the first challenging game mentioned today? No, Tempest is probably way harder. Tempest, you'd have to sit down and practice a lot to get good. This one, you have infinite lives. So, as long as you stick with it and you keep the console turned on, you can do this. It can be done. Tempest, you might never do it. So, the mad thing is there's over 60 stages. Fucking 60 for a Master System game. I've played Wonder Boy games that have fucking 10. You know, it's a bit mad. It's 60. And yeah, there's 7 bosses, which, to be honest, I can't remember what number boss I got to, but I eventually got to one and I couldn't do it and I lost my rag and turned it off, knowing that one day I'll come back and try again. That's the kind of difficulty we're talking about here. You'll get so far, you'll be so determined, but you won't be able to do it, so you'll be forced to come back another day. Graphically, Silver Valley has a bit of an anime style to it. Only a little bit. You can see it on your character's face. And in terms of main characters, he's not the most annoying cunt in the world, which is always a bonus. There is a bit of a backstory to it, which is kind of cool to have there, but because it's an 8-bit game, it's not incredibly detailed, so if I say anything about it, I feel like I'm going to be spoiling it for you, so I'm just going to keep stum and let you discover that one yourself. But I will say that if you're looking for an 8-bit platforming challenge, this is the place to go. This is a great way to say, yeah, I beat Silver Valley. Did you beat Silver Valley? No, you fucking didn't. Because I'm a better gamer than you. Have some of that. Wish I could say that, but I haven't beaten it. I'm working on it, though. I keep coming back to it. Well, that fucking boss. I'm a fucking cunt piece of shit. You fucking fuck you. You better. The funny thing is, as I mentioned, all of the different genres within this game, you know, platforming, shooter. I don't remember a shooter bit. I can't remember one. I'm not saying it isn't there. I'm saying I'm having a brain fart and I can't picture it. The music is quite fitting, but it's not very memorable. I mean, I struggle to think of a track off the top of my head right now. I mean, you're lucky. You'll have something to listen to before this bit starts. So, yay for you, boo for me. The skeletons within the game look like they've been ripped right out of a Castlevania game off the NES. I mean, they do look like they've just been ripped out of there. Whoever put them there obviously had to start from the ground up, so he made them, but it's obvious where his inspiration comes from. And yes, as far as I know, this game was developed by one person. I'm sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Enrique Ruiz, or Ruiz? Enrique Ruiz. There you are, one way or another fucked it up. Go me. I'm great at this. Don't know why I bother. I will tell you one strange thing. This game's been out for a little while now, like, I don't know, 2018, 2019, I think. But I can't find a hell of a lot of information on it. I mean, I've got the game. I'm very lucky to own a physical copy in my collection. Good luck getting one now, if I'm honest with you. I don't know if they still even make them, but it's an incredibly fun game. I would love for you to download and try it. All I can say is, it's so much like Castlevania. This is the Castlevania we wanted on the Sega Master System, rather than the, air quotes, Castlevania we got. In other words, Master of Darkness. I know there's some people out there that say, oh, Master of Darkness is better than Castlevania. No, I would say it's different. I don't think Master of Darkness is a Castlevania-like game. Silver Valley is. Hands down, it's very Castlevania-ish. In no way is it Metroidvania-ish, though. I don't know why some people call it that. But this is the game we would have loved back in the day for the Master System. But we got Masters of Darkness instead, which, it's not a bad game. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm running to fucking Silver Valley, sorry. Maybe I should do a Let's Play of that one day. Let me know, because this is something that's kind of tough to talk about when there's just such little detail there. It's an 8-bit game, and the best way to describe it, to put it out there for people to try it, is to show you it. Talking about it's kind of tough. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of tricky. So let me know if you would like a Let's Play or some other video where you can see Silver Valley. I am unfortunately gonna have to wrap it up there. I've been recording for long enough. I got other stuff I have to do today. Remember, I just got back off my fucking holiday. Go out sick, come back sick. And yes, I do feel a bit shit. I am gonna have to cut out so much of this fucking recording where I've had to cough or all sorts. So don't worry, you won't be subjected to that. But it gives me plenty of editing. So definitely gonna wrap this one up now. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the 16 Bitchin' Podcast. I hope you enjoyed a little backstory at the start. I hope you enjoyed the talk about the Kirby game on the Switch that I thought was apparently given rubbish reviews when it came out, but apparently it is awesome. Tempest, an arcade game I've fallen in love with. And Silver Valley, a game that's tough to put into words, but fucking hell is it good. It's a damn fine Castlevania-like game for the Sega Master System. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe in wherever the fuck you're listening to it. Please go to the Sega Head channel and subscribe to that. Please. You can do that. I'd appreciate it. Yep. And also check out the Retro Refresh website. There are links and all this pony in the description of this podcast wherever you happen to be checking it out. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.